As we open up to ourselves, we invite untold treasures into our bosom. As we soften into ourselves and into the everlasting presence, we become one and united with an effortless abundance awaiting our permission. If we can drop our perceptions and judgments and resistance, we can become whole and digest all that we are in the present moment and all that we can be in the future. If we can drop the weight of our judgments and our expectations of who we are and what we can do in this moment, then we can become whole and digest the entirety of our possibility of who we are in this moment and indeed ahead. If we can remain naked to ourselves and to life, then we are forever poured into and nourished and filled with all that we can be and are in this moment. So we are to find ourselves and our possibility within the resistances and the temptations to judge and to attach ourselves to the weight of expectation. It is in these things that we daily face that we find the source to our life and to all that we can be and are connected to. For it is in these things that we sometimes wrestle with that are opportunities to soften into. And if we dare to soften into those resistances, judgments, expectations, the weightiness, the fieriness, the wrestling or fighting, if we can dare to soften into those, to be present with those, to lend a devotional ear to those experiences and expressions within us, then we are invited into more. We are invited into a totality. And in that totality, we invite more of that into our being and into our life. It is this curious nature of a polarity, of embracing the polarity of the scarcity and abundance, the scarcity of judgment and expectation, which limits and weighs us down, but curiously, if embraced through softness, grace, and an unconditional love, blossoms into more, to much, much more, into an everlasting and effortless more, which is always within, but never accessed predominantly through a defended expectation and judgment and resistance. For it is in these defended states when we defend and fight on behalf of resistances, judgments, or expectations that we forever remain sheltered from our totality. We are hard and rigid and heavy in those defenses where we build walls instead of open doors. So we are invited in these moments of restlessness or wrestling or fire and heat, when we are present with fears expressed through judgments or expectations, or a resistance or a reluctance to soften into the totality of what we are in the present, so that we can be all that we can be in the future. The more we hold the totality of who we are in the present, the more we will continue to become the heights of possibility in the future. So we need not defend and uphold the projections of expectations of the need to fight and to wrestle or to quell the fire. Sometimes a fire will emerge within and the best, most productive form of action, the most fertile, is to soften. To find the door within that fire that takes you ahead or takes you through into your abundant and effortless possibility that is within, not in the projected expectation of defense without. And so it is a returning into and an embodiment of our totality in the present, and an understanding of the polarity of that, the curious nature of the polarity of that phenomena, experience, an expression of self that cannot be denied into good and to bad, into progress and regress, but to just be in what we are and to soften into our judged lesser nature when it emerges in fire and heat or wrestling or resistance. These things are to be softened into, to listen to be intimate with, to be present with, to build a rapport and relationship with, to understand one is in communion and in a marriage with themselves, for better and for worse, for sickness and in health. So in that devotional relation, in that sacred marriage with ourselves, we must embrace ourselves beyond the judgments or the expectations of ourselves and who we should be, to do our best to let those emerge freely in a soft disposition where we are like water, and we allow things to ebb and to flow. We allow ourselves to ebb and to flow, and thus are fertile for invitation, because we are not rigid and heavy like stone. And so this is a moment to question your softness, to embrace your softness, and to invite your softness into this moment to see where it will take you. Good luck. Explore your softness. Let it be. Bye.